I am Trace Van Gordon with the ApertureLab.com. The Aperture Lab is a digital photography school in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we are here today at Cardinal Camera in Charlotte, here with Tony Ulcher. Tony Ulcher is the store manager here, and Cardinal Camera Charlotte is the official camera store of the Aperture Lab, which is our digital photography school in Charlotte, all of that stuff. But so I've been getting a lot of emails lately at the Aperture Lab about people asking questions about cameras. They want to know what kind of camera they should get. And so I figured what better place to come and ask than over here at Cardinal Camera and Tony. And so Tony, here's the question. People want to know, they want to take the school, they want to get a new camera, they want a high quality camera. I guess that's how you would say it. So we have some cameras lined up here, and I want you to go through these cameras and just give some recommendations of like 3 levels of cameras that the average photographer could get into.
Sure. One of the cameras we've had that is exceptionally popular is from Sony. It's the A6000. And what makes this special is that this is a mirrorless camera, but high-performance mirrorless camera, which means fast focusing, manual exposure control, automatic exposure control. The guts in this camera compare very favorably to the guts in the Nikon D7100, which we'll talk about in a second. But what is great about this is it's small, it's light, it's fast, and it's very, very capable. You have all the newest features, so you've got Wi-Fi, you've got a tilt screen, high-definition video, and can able to shoot as quick as 11 frames a second.
Wow.
So terrific performance. At a price point that's really outstanding for what it can do. It sells for normally $699.
$699. Does this lens come off, or is this a fixed lens, or how?
No, that's what's cool about this. This is a full system camera, so any of the Nikon E-series E-mount lenses are going to fit onto here.
Okay.
There are a series of third-party adapters, so if you've maybe invested into a Nikon or a Canon system and you want to use some of that glass on here, with a small adapter, you can adapt a lot of other lenses to this. So kind of an open source, almost like a new version of the old school Pentax K stuff.
Yeah, that's very cool because I shoot with Nikon, so if I wanted to go with this Alpha 6000 body with an adapter, I could use my lenses.
Absolutely.
That's very cool.
Depending on the adapter, you might lose some functionality, but it's not as if it's 2 completely separate systems that can't work together. And that's what's cool about it.
Mm-hmm. And this is I don't know if you said that, it's a mirrorless camera?
Yeah, mirrorless. And what this allows for a smaller design. If you look at the size and the depth of a traditional SLR versus the depth of an A6000, it's a lot thinner, it's a lot lighter. Mirrorless simply means we don't have a reflex mirror inside. So if you think about a camera that you've had before, you got a mirror, you take a picture, the mirror flips up, that's the reflex part. So bigger, a little bit more complicated to manufacture, adds a lot of size and bulk and complexity to the camera's assembly, whereas right here, everything's coming right off of the sensor, right to your eye or back to the screen. So, yeah, a lot smaller.
Yeah, big difference in size. I mean, may I see this for a second? Yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, it does everything that these larger cameras will do, and the quality is good?
Quality is equal to this. Again, the guts of the camera, the main sensor of the camera, same thing in the 7100 and the 6000.
That's amazing. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and stuff, and guys have been talking about the mirrorless cameras, and they're up and coming. I'm wondering if Nikon or Canon's going to come out with the mirrorless. Any word on that?
They have. Nikon's is called the One, and they have a series of cameras in their One system. It's a small sensor, much smaller than what this is. This is a traditional APS size sensor like you find in a lot of the other cameras. The One sensor is a lot smaller. Their lenses are a lot smaller. It's a capable system, but I think Sony's put more into theirs. Canon has a mirrorless system. They just announced. I don't know if they've shipped them yet. It's called the M series, and we'll see what that comes out to be. Their Canon's first entry into mirrorless in the U.S. They'll admit was kind of a failure, and so they've reworked it, and we'll see what they can do with it. So right now, mirrorless really is being led by Sony, Panasonic, and Olympus. And from a price and performance standpoint, this is the one that I think beats them all.
Very cool. And you know, you have this. This is a Canon D70 or 70D.
70D.
I get them backwards. You know, the Nikons are D, and then I get the names backwards, but that's cool. So tell me about this. Well, I mean, this is a. What's the difference between these two right here?
Well, this is what you think of when most people think of a traditional digital SLR. Big mirror hump, big camera, traditional Nikon F mount or Canon EOS mount. And what you have here is, right now, a great value in a D7100. The price on it has dropped. Its replacement has been announced but not shipped yet. 24 megs of resolution, fast performance, high-speed video, off-camera flash, fully capable. So this is a camera that someone's not going to outgrow in 6 or 8 months or 9 months. You know, they take some classes, they get enthused. We run into a lot of people who outgrow a camera very quickly, and so you know they start off with an entry level, they get big into it, they take some classes, they get some knowledge, and they immediately are looking for an upgrade. So this is a camera that you're not going to upgrade anytime soon. Full suite of accessories in terms of flash, vertical grips, anything in the Nikon line with an F mount, even some of the older legacy glass that doesn't have a built-in motor will fit and function and work on this camera just fine. So awesome camera and a great performer. It's gotten a little bit long in its tooth, but that's always a great time to pick up a camera when it's beginning to get at the end of its what I call the retail life.
Okay.
All right, that being said, the 70D was recently read an article. The author calls this the best of the video-enabled SLRs. And that's what a lot of people are looking for, is a camera that can do both well. And so this camera, I think, is really closer to state-of-the-art when it comes to performance both ways, stills and video. And
you know, we're shooting right now. This video that we're shooting right now is with 2 DSLR cameras. So you know, that is an important aspect. I noticed that this 70D has a articulating screen. Is that what they call that?
Yeah,
and that
exactly.
You know, I mean, neither one of the cameras that we're using right now have that. Why would you want this screen on the back?
It is really a great help with video. If you're thinking about doing low angle shots, you can flip that screen down and hold the camera down at ground level or up high or down low. Same thing if you need to go over your head, you're in a crowd, maybe at a concert, and you want to get over your head and not shoot blindly. You can take this screen, flip it down, hold the camera up over your head, and see what's going on.
That's very cool. I would like to have that on my cameras.
One of the things that they did with this also is that this is a touch screen. And so one of the cool things that the touch, and I don't know if it's turned on this camera or not, I'll have to check it real quick, but one of the things that you can do with this is what's called a touch shutter. So if you're setting up a shot and you want to shoot and focus right here, you can touch the screen, it will focus on that spot and then shoot right away, which is pretty cool. You can also use that to drag focus. So if you're shooting video and you want to move your focus point from one part of the scene to another, you can simply touch the screen and pull your focus from one point to another.
So if we had a touch focus on one of these cameras that we're shooting with right now, video, and David's my assistant back there, if he wanted to just touch the back of the screen, it would focus where he touched?
Yeah, exactly.
Man, that's awesome. We need to get one of those.
This might be a little bit tough to show, but as soon as I touch it, it focuses. We can see the mark as it's tracking focus, but then I can drag my focus point to another part of the screen just by moving it on with my finger.
That is neat. I like that a lot.
With touch focus, we can use David as our model. Let's pull it back up here. I touch him, as soon as it focused on him, it shot.
Wow. You should see that from behind, guys. That's a very neat camera. I love that. All right, so these cameras look intimidating. Like if you've never picked up a DSLR camera and you went out and you bought one of these cameras, you know, there's a lot of buttons on it and they are a little intimidating looking, but that is why you should come to the Aperture Lab and take some classes. If you were to come to the basic photography workshop at the Aperture Lab, we would help you take one of these cameras, and everybody wants to go on the green auto mode. You get a camera, you put it in the auto mode, you take it, and you take a bunch of pictures. But we can really help you get out of that and into some of the other settings that the aperture settings and the shutter settings, the shutter priority and all that stuff, and really get you around the cameras a lot better.
Well, and that's the idea. A lot of times someone will make an investment in a camera like this, and you're looking, $700, $1,500, depending on the model. So you're going to put a decent investment into your gear, and you want to get the most out of it. It frustrates me a lot of times when I talk to someone who comes into a class, or they've had a camera for 6 months or a year or 2 years, and they're still living in auto. Mm-hmm. And so our basic classes, we give you a couple of classes with the camera, are going to get you started. When you want to get in depth, that's when you want to work with the Aperture Lab to get off of automatic, shoot in some of the letters. You quickly realize it's really not hard to shoot in manual or in an aperture priority setting. But then you really are starting to get more out of the camera. You're creating a picture rather than just pushing a button. One of the things I see a lot with someone is that they bring me a picture, Tony, look what I did. I'm really so proud of myself. And my first question is, that's great. How did you do it? And when they go, I don't know, can you tell me how I did it? That's kind of a fail. And the best part is working with people over time. They say, Tony, look what I did. Here's what I did. And that, to me, that's really the whole nuts and bolts of photography. And that's really getting the most out of it. That's what I enjoy.
Yeah, it's teaching people how to replicate what they've done time and time again. That's what really being a photographer is all about, is
Absolutely.
being able to know the kind of a picture you want to take and set the camera up and take those photographs consistently. That's where it's at.
Consistent and repeatable. That's exactly right.
So once again, we have the Sony A6000 mirrorless camera. We have the Nikon D7100 digital DSLR camera, and the Canon 70D DSLR camera.
Very good.
Right?
Yep.
And all of these are really good choices. Even if you're starting out and you're looking for your first digital camera, they may look intimidating, but with just a couple of little tips from the Aperture Lab, we can get you shooting and real creative and inspire you real quick. So
absolutely.
Well, that's a wrap for tonight. I just wanted to introduce these cameras to the folks at the Aperture Lab out there, and that's about it. So we appreciate you tuning in tonight. And Aperture Lab, okay, so Cardinal Camera is on Facebook, and
yep.
Cardinal Camera
Cardinal
Charlotte.
Camera
It's
Charlotte.
actually it's actually facebook.com/CardinalCLT. That's how you find Tony Ultra here and the guys at Cardinal Camera. We are on the Aperture Lab is theaperturelab.com, and we are also on Instagram at the Aperture Lab and Facebook the Aperture Lab. So that's about it. So anything else? We good?
We're good.
All right. See you guys. That's it. Okay.